In a world of storms and war, the Knights Radiant have returned, drawing power from the ideals they speak and the bonds they forge with Spren. The forces of Odium threaten all of Roshar, Regals, Fused, and the Unmade. But as the battle for Roshar rages on, the war for the Cosmere is just beginning. Will you become a Radiant of Roshar, a Mistborn of Scadrial, an Elantrian of Sel, or a World Hopper, exploring the mysteries of the Cosmere? Welcome to a universe of adventure, of investiture, of stories waiting to be told. Welcome to the Cosmere RPG.
My books are largely connected in a universe I call the Cosmere. This came about because of a couple of reasons. It's hard to look back 30, 40 years and figure out what I was thinking when I started to devise this. But I love a big, cool epic. It's my deepest first love. And as I started to work on my books, I thought, I want to do a big epic, but I have to hide it. And I started layering all of these things together, and it became the Cosmere. Really built around 3 planets. Built around Sel, where Elantris was taking place, the first book that I released. Scadrial, built around the Mistborn series, which I already had written a draft of, and Roshar, where I'd already written The Way of Kings Prime, and I brought these 3 worlds together and created an intricate, interconnected backstory. It all kind of comes to a head here, where this setting that I once imagined as an RPG instead has become my own RPG that is now a launching pad to the entire Cosmere and the RPGs we're going to be making. I always thought the Roshar would work really well for an RPG. The standard ones, the famous ones, they cover the Tolkien-esque worlds, but Roshar is a world built out of conflict, nature versus humankind with the storms. It is a place that I designed to be visually interesting and arresting, that you feel like you're going to an alien planet, an alien ecology. New plants, animals, and stories that can be told that aren't really possible in your standard elf and dwarf go on a quest together and learn to put aside their differences and facing a common foe. Not that I mind those stories. I've done RPGs and played those stories. But in Roshar, I want to offer something different. This is a tool for you to be able to do what I get to do every day, and that is have fun and play in Roshar. Pick up a shard blade, cut a rock in half, and try not to cut your toes off. When we sat down to do this, one of the big decisions we had to make was how canonical was this game system going to be? This is because making a game and world book that doubles as basically just a canon encyclopedia to the setting is 10 times more difficult. We made the challenge to ourselves to make the entire RPG, both Player's Guide and World Book, canon to the Stormlight Archive. The other really fun thing I think you're going to enjoy is we sat down, Dan Wells and I, and Dan said, we want to include an adventure as part of the RPG. You know, an intro adventure. This is very common in RPGs. A lot of times those adventures feel a little bit kind of like an afterthought. We didn't want that. We wanted something that was not only canonical, but would fill in a big hole in some of the continuity of the narrative. And we figured out something that I had never found a chance to really write that actually relates to Stormlight 5's continuity in a pretty important way. And you get to play the people who were involved in that. The campaign is called Stonewalkers, and I'm not going to tell you anything more about it other than that. But it will introduce you to how to play with this. And Dan and I wrote this thing, and it is canon, though your players are allowed to make choices that won't actually be canon, because I won't know about them. It's been a little bit hard to keep secret the fact that this is going to actually be a Cosmere RPG and not just a Stormlight RPG. For about 2 years, we've known that we were going to do this, but I like a good reveal. So here's to the fact that we will have some more books coming for all the major planets in the Cosmere. And that is our plan. Our plan is for this to be a long-term endeavor, for this to be getting support as long as I am writing new books in the Cosmere, that we are supporting this RPG. And so we're in it for the long haul. We hope that you'll be in it for the long haul, and that we'll be able to keep your excitement and to be worthy of your trust as we build this out from Roshar into all the planets of the Cosmere.